front row watching SmackDown in the garden. We made it fall from them basements and apartments. Used to have them dubs and sour on the park bench. Down to put in work, it don't matter how the job get. I felt like last summer could have been my hardest. Sleeping in my car, guard testing where my heart is. I could never let the devil tell me what I'm worth. Cause a nigga came from nothing, now I've been around the earth. Digi-scale active when I'm penning down these words. I'm a rapper and a trapper, I could bag it in a verse. Now I'm talking sweets like right next to the beach. Margarita sipping, white sand up on my feet. I'd have been around so many celebrities, I'm a star now. I learned when you're up, you can never let your guard down. Anywhere we go, they start to treat us like we gods now. Only time I'm yelling, I tell them to bring the car around.
Welcome to another episode of Wrestling the Rap Game. And as you see, we have a very special guest. We have my bro DMC's in the building.
Yes,
How
sir.
are you, sir?
Yes,
You
sir,
good,
man. I'm good, man. I'm great. How about yourself?
Man, blessed.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this was a DMC hit me like Friday?
Immediately.
Friday, he was like, yo, we gotta chop it up. I got some shit to get off my chest. And I was like, bet. It's like, yo, I was like, bet. So here we are, man.
Yeah.
This is a emergency pod, and man, I'll do for any for I won't do that for anybody, but DMC hit me up. I had to get done. So
Appreciate that, man. That's all love. Appreciate
of course,
that.
man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You show love, man.
Yeah.
Let me move this up too. The establishment.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I went to the last show. You know what I mean? Y'all show love. So you know what I mean? It's only right that I return the favor, bro. Like you,
Appreciate that.
Mikey, y'all have always showed me love. So
Yeah.
of course I had to return the favor, bro.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what it's
That's
about.
good. That's good, man. It's not much of an emergency. It's nothing that's really crazy. You know what I mean? Obviously there's shit going on.
Yeah.
It's the Florida indie wrestling scene, man. It's
Yeah.
always shit going on, but I'm trying to use all that attention that's being put in my direction right now in a positive light to promote something that's probably being lost in a lot of the conversations and that's like the change. And I think that's probably what's bringing a lot of people's negativity out. Because when you start doing something that people want to do or they tried to do and they failed at doing it and they see you doing it better, they're going to have an opinion about it, and then it kind of gets a little crazy about it. Then those opinions turn personal, and then for some reason you have those personal feelings, and then you feel like you got to project those personal feelings in a professional environment.
Yeah.
It all kind of gets all messed up, and so I'm just here just to kind of clear any kind of air. I ain't trying to, I know Florida Indies is based off of drama and all of that shit, but I ain't really with that because I'm with the positivity. Apparently, I'm being painted as some kind of mobster in the business right now. Like, and this is probably a lot of your viewers that's watching this right now. This is probably your first time hearing of me, but I'm apparently some mobster in the Florida indie wrestling where I'm just putting hits out on promotions. I'm trying to make the establishment the top one, and I don't know. I guess that's the narrative that's being spun around. So again, like I said, I'm just here trying to clear the air.
Copy, man. And me being in this podcast business, you already know we get kind of the same smoke, I guess, being in this podcast business. So I could definitely relate to that, man. But there's money out here for everybody.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, straight up, man. And I guess like I said, those personal situations when people it kind of gets convoluted because like wrestling is one of those very passionate industries. It's one of those it's something that you got into when you were younger. It's something that you got into when you were naive, when you didn't really know what it was. And there's some people that got into it at a later age. That's probably developmentally not as up to par with most people that don't really understand that this business is not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's a work, but some people they ingest it and it's their life. Like it's their lifeline. Like if you take it away from, like, what do you got? Like, who are you outside of? I know who I am outside of professional wrestling. Like I was in the Army. I served in the military for 8 years. Like I have an identity outside of professional wrestling.
Copy.
There's a lot of people in professional wrestling that don't have an identity. They're still living in with their moms. They're still catching checks off of the government, you know what I mean? And they're trying to make it seem like I'm the bad guy because I'm smart with my money, or I've done things in my life. I've been through situations. I've been through situations that I had to learn from, that I had to grow from, and they're seeing the mature version. They're seeing the now. They're seeing the 36 going on 37 version. They didn't see the 29-year-old. They didn't see the 28-year-old that was, you know, crashing on couches. You know, they didn't see, you know, the little project baby growing up in Scholarship Drive. Because apparently, because they see the life that I live now, that there's a narrative being spun that, you know, I'm some suburbs kid. You know what I mean? But like, it's very easy to see that I don't want to be from that life anymore. You know, so I wanted to get out of that life, and I made such a journey to not look back, that when people see me now, that they think that this is all I've been through, you know. And so, like I said, spin those narratives, and like it's just too personal, and people, like I said, they jaw jack and they say what they say, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the beauty about this business is that you can talk, but it's all about the action. It's all about what goes on in this ring, right? It's all about what you can produce in this ring. And for the last 9 years, I've produced buckets, bro. And that's just me talking about me, because apparently, if nobody's gonna big me up, I'm gonna big myself up. Yeah. I've produced buckets. I've failed. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? I've learned.
That's part of it, bro.
I've failed.
That's part of the journey.
I've done some shit, and I've produced buckets. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if people would just live, you know, one slice of that life, maybe they would appreciate it. But they just see it stacked on stacked on stacked, and of course, naturally, that hate and that jealousy, because maybe at a promotion, maybe at a show, we hung out our back and smoked a blunt. Now you think we best friends, and now you see me shining, and I didn't put you on. Now you mad at me because we smoked a blunt 3 years ago. Yeah. How's that? You know what I mean? Like, it's little things like that in wrestling that is little quips like that. So it's like, all right, well, fine. It's you seeing me stacking, and you still where you were when I saw you. So now, obviously, there's naturally going to be some jealousy. There's going to be some envy. So it is what it is. Like I said, it comes with the territory. So I'm just here, like I said, clear some air, and then use all of this attention that's on me right now, if there is any. Apparently there is, but if there is any, to turn it into promoting some positivity, man. Get in some shit. You know what I mean? Like, with this beautiful building that a lot of people can't say, that, you know, or I'm in a building that, you know, myself and 2 other people names is on the lease. You know what I'm saying? Like, we own this building. You know what I mean? Like, this is our spot. We're not subleasing it through anybody. We're not, hey, can I put my ring up in the back of your gym? Like, no. This is our livelihood. There are 3 families at stake. All right, I have a newborn on the way. We have 3 families at stake with this business. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to ride on it. So there's really no room for bullshit and drama. You know what I mean? So I want to go ahead and get that shit out of the way, so that way I can go ahead and tell everybody what's really popping, what's really going on. So if everybody wants the real truth, and they can see it, because, you know what I mean, from somebody talking on a webcam in front of their cameras, that's one narrative. But you know what I'm saying, I got you right here. That's why I reached out to you, because you have a medium where I can talk my shit, but now I can show my shit at the same time.
Facts.
So.
1000%. I hear that. But you did talk about, let's go to the beginning of that. You know, talked about earlier off camera.
Yeah.
Originally from Virginia Beach.
Yep.
757.
757. Still got love. My dad was in the Navy, big military family. But originally this is where he grew up, in the Central Florida area, right outside of Daytona. Okay. So that was where he, we, like, snowbirds migrated down here. Like, everybody's problem is local. Like, what's the one thing you hate? Is them damn snowbirds that come down. Yeah, we were the problem. Bro, see, you know what I mean? It happens.
I'm from New York.
Bro, there's very few. There's very few locals. You know what I mean? There's very few locals nowadays. But, like, during that time, like, we weren't like long stays. You know, we would come down, visit, stay with grandma during the summers, things like that. So, so this was almost like a second home to me. But yeah, growing up Virginia Beach, man, 757, still got love for that place, man. Growing up at a time where, like, Mike Vick was popping, Allen Iverson was popping, like, growing up in that era, like, so, like,
music, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Missy, Timbaland, like, all, yeah, all of them was coming out. Blackstreet, who's your boy? That dude who's putting everybody on. See. Now everybody watching this from back home is gonna crucify me for this. But yeah, and then even, like, boxing, we had Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker coming out of there at that time. Like 757 was popping, like mid 90s. Like, it was a known area.
Also known DX Invasion in Virginia too.
Yeah, that happened.
A little further on, Norfolk.
Norfolk. So the Hampton Coliseum is off of 264. So the Hampton Coliseum is like, when you drive off, it's on it, or I don't know what it is, it's been a while, but it used to be on this island that you would just drive by and you see it all the time. So it's kind of funny. It's like, 'cause they used to always do the tapes and the lives and whatnot. And I remember that because in school the next day, people was like, oh my God, it was real, like it really happened. Like people was like, I get it now. That moment made so many wrestling fans like locally because it was such a big deal. Like these dudes like literally held up traffic driving his slow ass. Like they literally drove. It wasn't that far of a drive. It was probably like only like 2 miles, 3 miles or something. But they literally did that. Like that was all shoot.
At like 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, bro. It was all shoot. And the thing about this, I mean, it's all out now, but like WCW, those were all free shows.
Yeah.
Those tape shows were all free. So like, you know who that attracted. Hood boogers, natural jits like me that was just like, yo, we ain't gotta pay to go see wrestling. Hell yeah, let's go see that shit. You know what I mean? So if you like watch the clips, you just see them, bro. We all just jumping around. I wasn't with them, you know what I mean? But that was, you know, I understood like that was the crew, like that was like the understanding of like the, you know, the environment in the area, like, and it's like it's little things like that, moments like that, and I'll be thinking about, and it's like, man, like that's the kind of shit that made me start this. Yeah, you know, because. Yeah, WCW was running at that time, but the only reason why they were able to get where they, I don't want to say the only reason, but one of the good ways they were able to get there was those tickets to low-income families. You know what I mean? And so because I took advantage, I was one of those low-income families that was able to go to those shows. I tell everybody this, we wasn't a WWF household. If you went to a WWF show, you had money. You know what I mean? Like that was that cartoon.
They had the superheroes.
Yeah, that was the superheroes.
The Warriors, Savage,
exactly.
Andre.
Exactly.
I mean, even in the 90s, Sid, Luger, Yokozuna,
you go to the
Undertaker.
Arcade, they're on the games, the pinballs. You know what I mean? Like that was the big time. So to me, WCW was like, that's just
WCW was Dusty Rhodes, where the son of a plumber. So it's
my understanding to like what now the Indies is. You know what I mean? I didn't obviously know what the Indies probably wasn't a thing back then, but I always thought they were like the guys that wasn't the top guys, but they were, you know, they were big enough.
There was only like one of those. It was probably Flair.
Yeah. Oh, no, when they had, during that time, no, for sure, but I'm talking like early 90s. I'm talking like during that Luger, Sting, like that early, like WCW.
Vader.
Vader, Steiner Brothers,
Ron
Doom,
Simmons.
Ron Simmons, all of those guys. Like Teddy Long with the do-rag, like all of that. Yes, sir,
Wyndham.
Like, Barry Windham, all of that. Like that was the wrestling that I grew up on. Like that, and to me, like I used to always say the F in WWF meant fake. Like I remember saying that as a kid. It wasn't until like I was like much old, like not much older, like Attitude Era. So now we're talking to like 97, 98. So now it's only a matter of like 3-4 years. You know what I mean? Then I started kind of seeing it, kind of understanding, but also I'm coming into adolescence and they showing tits everywhere. So of course I'm gonna watch that. You know what I mean? So fuck it, I popped into that and I'm like, all right, cool, okay, you got me. You know what I'm saying? And I was going through a little emo phase. You know what I mean? So like the Undertaker, the Ministry of Darkness was my shit. So you know, like so I was like, all right, I can get in with this cartoon shit. All right, I can get
shout
into
out Gangrel
it. You know, shout out Gangrel, but no, Gangrel was one for the hood. There was a lot of the Brood. Shout out, when he came up out that fire, that ring of fire, that was like the stuff you remember because you don't see that in WCW.
And the theme song.
Nah, but that's what I'm saying. So
the theme songs in WWF
Jim
were way better.
Bro. Jim Johnston.
Way better. They were cooking them.
Jim Johnston. You put that man in front of any musical instrument, and that dude.
Shout out my boy Dre. He got a great Jim Johnston TikTok that went like viral because it was the Brood cooked, bro. It got like 6 figures in views because everybody was like, Jim Johnston is the guy.
Yes.
How Jim Johnston created themes in the Attitude Era.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
So we got a wacky one here today. You know who the pitch came from. He just watched John Carpenter's Vampires and got a crazy idea. So it's a vampire gimmick. And, you know, it's no real big plans. You're going to debut him on Sunday Night Heat. And don't have to go out the box for this one. So, Dracula has to keep it light, monotone.
That I feel like I can do.
I bury Paul McCartney, Paul Mooney. In 2026, I'm coming for you, Paul Levesque.
Jim, how does that correlate? And what does that exactly mean that you bury Paul? Perfect. Yeah, we'll debut next week. All right. I don't know how you do it. Peace out.
Bro, I don't know how he do it, bro. But when he hit them licks, bro, and he did the beats, we're gonna be crazy, bro. Yeah, yeah, man. And then his versatility too, right? Because then he can do something like the Brood.
Yeah.
But then like you hear like the Miz.
Yeah.
And the speed and that, and it's like, bro, like and then with the Ministry and the Undertaker.
I was just about to say
and like
that,
how
that,
slow and. But
that,
every
that Ministry Undertaker thing was crazy.
To it, but everything played to the character.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like now it kind of seems like, and this ain't shot, this ain't a dig, but it just seems
I'll
like.
say,
Because I know you're a music guy. I know you're a music guy, so that's you. But it just seems like they pick out of a catalog.
Yeah.
Out of a pre-made catalog.
Yep.
Like it felt like Jim Johnston, like they went to Jim Johnston and said, okay, I got this idea for a vampire, right? Like you got this vampire, think of like the music that you're gonna hear. You got like the red lights, we're gonna have the fire there. And he's like, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Oh shit. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's how you cook
and
something.
the
you know
backwards
what I mean?
talking in the beginning.
Yeah, bro, like that's how you cook something, you know? But now it's just like, what's your favorite song? You know? Oh, I like that, what's that Meg Thee Stallion song, 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that song. Okay, we'll make something like that. And it's not a shot, but listen to Zelina Vega.
YouTube type beat.
Zelina Vega newest thing. It is
Shout out my sister,
No,
man.
no. Like I said, no digs, no digs.
No.
But I heard it and I was like, is she coming out to that Meg Thee Stallion? Like I thought I popped for a little bit. I was like, okay, she coming out to that Meg, but it's almost like they do like, who's your favorite artist? All right, we're gonna try to ride that. So maybe there's some kind of, you know what WCW used to do.
Yeah.
You know how they used to do that back in the day. Like Chris Jericho used to come out to Even Flow. It was like a rip off of Even Flow from Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's no dig. Like it's in the business.
that's kinda
you know
what
what I mean?
right now.
But it's just like when I hear that, you know,
There's no originality
It's on
anymore.
SmackDown. That's one of the theme songs. So I hear 1, 2, 3, 4, and then she comes out and I hear a similar bop. You know what I mean? So it's just like.
It's better than the last one she had.
That kind of gets me. Don't get me wrong. It's
that
her.
last one.
When I hear it, I'm like, okay, I see her.
Yeah.
Like that is her. Theme.
It's better than her last joint.
Yeah, just
the
drop,
last joint was
then
crazy.
drop the Meg Thee Stallion theme song on SmackDown. Like then drop it off the thing.
Or just drop the bag and get a real song.
Yeah, or just give her the Meg song. You know what I mean? Just give her a Meg song, bro. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
man.
don't. So you said it. Like it's them. But like I said, and I could be sitting in my rocking chair right now, waving my cane, talking about the old days,
back in my day
type shit. But
back in my day.
Yeah, but that's just how it sounded.
Yeah.
It was like to me, like music, like bro, like I bought the volumes, bro, for the music. Like I bought it for the soundtrack.
What's your favorite?
Bro.
What's your favorite?
The Music Volume 4.
Okay, out of all of them.
Yep. Music Volume 4.
That's the one that has.
That's the green.
The green one.
Yep, that's the green.
That's
got
has.
everybody. That's the Attitude Era. Basically, Attitude Era.
Is the New Age Outlaws on there?
Yep.
Is X-Pac is on there?
Yep.
Mankind is on there, I think.
I would say my second one, the second one, I'm talking about I burnt lines on the CD. And that's an old reference. I burnt lines on the CD was the, they did the hybrid, the mix. Where they would bring in the rappers and it,
Aggression.
Yeah, that was
That's
the
my
other one.
my favorite.
That was the one. Yeah, that was the one I burnt.
That's the one that had
with
the
the Rock,
Method Man with the Rock.
Yep.
Mystical was Stone Cold. Oh no, Mystical was Triple H. Stone Cold was Snoop Dogg. Run DMC with the DX.
Yep. King of Rock, what? The King of Rock.
Ice-T with the Pimpin' Ain't Easy, man. Man. That was a great.
I burned a hole in that one.
You know that debut like #2 on Billboard.
That went crazy like that? Wow. See, and that makes sense though. That makes sense though.
They had all the hottest rappers at that time. They got Run DMC.
Yeah. When you had DMC coming out on that, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And you had Method Man, and they were doing videos.
Yeah.
There's a whole video to Method Man with the Rock theme song.
Well, yeah. Well, he was on the cover, because I remember he had the pie, right? That was when the Rock was on the cover with the pie.
Oh no, that was Volume 5.
Oh, that was the volume.
Because that was one that had the game. With Motorhead for the first time. That's when I had Kurt Angle on there.
Okay. So what was the aggression? Was that just it just had aggression on it?
It just had aggression on with like a cage.
With the cage in the background? Okay. I think
it was like red lettering, so like red and white lettering. But
okay.
Yeah, no, the one that had pie on it was it had Slick Rick with the Rock.
That was the Slick Rick one. Okay.
Yeah, that was the last song.
Right.
And that had the game on it. It had Kurt Angle on there. It had the Rikishi Batman on there. Yeah, I'm old, brother.
There it is, brother. You definitely burned a hole in that one. My
dad had a music store growing up, so
okay, so that's how you got in. Okay,
I was tapped into the music like that.
Naturally.
Yeah, I used to DJ too, but
I hear that.
That was those dark days. Before I realized I'm way better at this than DJing. But oh man, what is we talked about the music and those memories. What was like your earliest memory of like wrestling that like, oh snap, like this is fire?
No, that's too early. 95.
Okay.
I would have been 7 years old. It was when WCW came to the Norfolk Scope with World War III.
Oh wow. Was that when Show won?
What?
Oh, World War
War III, dog. We talking 90. What is it? 90.
You said 95.
95. So that would have been.
That was the triple K. I mean the 3-ring, right?
Yes.
So was that?
Sorry, yes.
Was that with Show one or where Scott Hall won? Oh no, Scott Hall came after.
That was after. Oh yeah. That was the one Paul. Yeah, with Giant. The Giant one. Yep. That's why he's like Show. I was like, Big Show wasn't in WCW. I was like,
my bad.
See, again, I'm a WCW kid, bro. He said the Big Show, and I'm like, who the fuck? Big Show was never in. If you would have said the Giant, I'd be like, oh yeah, the Giant did win that. But nah, the only thing I purposely do not watch that pay-per-view.
Why?
I purposely because I don't want to spoil it because that was, like I said, that was the childhood memory. Like I don't remember it. I just remember being there. I remember being excited. I remember like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to watch it and it end up being ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's done for me. You know what I mean? So I just want to hold. Like I'm holding on to that.
Yeah.
You don't hold on to a lot of childhood memories, so I'm gonna hold on to that. But I do remember. I did look it up because I wanted to see which match it was. But Sting was the U.S. champion at that time. That's the only thing I remember. I didn't look into it. I didn't see the match. But I know because that was the moment because he came down the aisle and they started popping all those fireworks and I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Who is that?
So Sting's your guy?
Sting's my guy. That is my main,
Copy.
as they say in the E community, bro. That is my guy, bro. Yeah. When I saw it, watching him come down, I was like, I'm still looking like in the direction of where I was sitting. Like as I point, like because we were up in like the 200s, we were this way facing the ring down this way, and obviously like the our way is that way. And I remember just like watching it all, just in awe watching it. That was one moment, and then there's another moment. He should not be named.
Copy.
He had he was going through his black phase before the NWO. But he did like a thing where he was like hurt and so he was like sad, so he was wearing black.
I was thinking about somebody else, and then you.
Yeah, I'm talking about that guy. Yeah, there's a lot of he who should not be named.
Yeah,
but as I get into context, you know what I'm talking about.
I think some about Crispin.
No. I fuck with Benoit. I'll say his name. I'll say his name. Yeah, I'll fuck with him. But he who should not be named. Yeah, he was first doing like his black thing, and he like took the shirt off and threw it in like a fire basket. He was like, "I'm back, brother."
Oh yeah, those are the context clues.
Yeah, so I remember that. That was cool. That's why I was kind of mad about the whole situation because those were the two key points that got me into wrestling. So when that whole shit happened, I was like, man, fuck, Hogan.
You ruined it.
Damn, man, that was like a moment, brother. And then obviously the shit that happened in fucking Daytona. Cause like I said, I got connections down here too. So like we was here when it happened. We wasn't at the show, but we was down here. We were watching it, but I was in Daytona when it happened. But like that was like a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, yeah. So when he did all the whole shit with his daughter, I was like, man, all right, bro. Like,
well, do you think that was a bigger turn or the John Cena one?
Cena.
You think Cena's a bigger turn than Hogan?
I'm still pissed off about Cena.
Okay.
Still pissed off.
It's still early though.
Still pissed off. But now I'm watching like old matches and I'm like, damn, he ain't lying. Bro, I watched back WrestleMania 25. He was babyfacing his ass off and the crowd was boo. He had to jump, like he won the belt, jumped in. He's not like, and it's like now he's starting to be that Thanos like heel where it's like, I mean,
but it's like, it's still early. I'm one of the few that's like it's still Hogan.
Yeah, nah. I mean, Hogan was big, like, and it was big. I think probably because I just want to get Hogan out of my wrestling history. That's probably what it is. But like, Hogan was like up until that point, it was Hogan.
Yeah.
Like
I still
Hogan,
think it
Hogan
is,
was a
bro.
big deal. Hogan was a big deal. Austin was a big deal. A lot of people don't talk about Austin. Austin
I think
turning,
Cena got Austin beat.
Austin going corporate was a big deal.
It was.
The only reason why it's not like remembered or anything is because
it was bad afterwards.
Well, yeah, because then they tried to like go back to it real quick. Then he tried to like, oh, I was just joking. He was wearing the fake tie and all that shit. But like that turn was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like WrestleMania 17, the end of 17,
the turn was crazy. But the follow up was trash.
Yeah, the follow up was crazy.
Which is why I'm like, it's still early with Cena, because the follow up could still be trash. It's been good so far.
Yeah.
But the end result could be trash.
Yeah, fool me once.
Hogan, the follow up was fire for like a year.
Bro. It influenced the culture.
Exactly.
It influenced the generation, bro.
That's what I'm like,
bro. Without that turn, you wouldn't have promotions. You wouldn't have wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, trust me, that turn was a big deal.
And the stars that came about it were Goldberg.
Yeah. The WCW stars
Crow
that
Sting.
time. Yep.
Like
Booker T,
T,
guys
Scott
like
Steiner.
that. They were able to shine. They were able to take those guys and then be like, all right, well now let's shine a light on some other people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they were forced.
Yep.
They were forced
Even
to shine.
Luger winning the title was a big deal, beating Hogan.
Yep.
I mean, there's some that were bad, like Warrior and Piper and Flair, like that were fighting with Hogan, but like the new stars that came from the NWO, like you said, and Crow Sting got over because of that. Jeff Jarrett got off because of the NWO.
Yep.
Scott Steiner.
He got over because of the walk.
No,
basically
for sure.
anybody that walked got over instantly because
No,
it was
for sure.
like, ooh,
but
you
when it was
jumped
like
the line.
NWO 2000 or whatever, like that's what propelled him to the main event.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, it ruined like Bret Hart's career, but
yeah.
You know, I be feeling Bret Hart sometimes. I be feeling
Bret Hart is the one. He's like the one uncle that we wish we took care of. Like that was the one. I wish they took care of them. Like it's like you look back on his career, it's like he did everything for this business, and all the business did was shit on him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We didn't appreciate him until so late.
Bro. It's like looking up. Like it's like, why y'all didn't appreciate your brother?
Yeah.
Like why y'all didn't take care of him? Like you looking at your dad. Like why you didn't take care of your brother, bro? Like why you let your brother struggle like this? All he ever did was love the business, bro. Like, and you know,
it's only you the Americas too, bro.
Yeah. He gets love. He gets
love everywhere else. Bro, I went to Toronto.
Oh, I'm sure in Canada he's a god.
Last July for Money in the Bank. Bro, he has a musical in Toronto.
I had to digest what you said. I was
about
like,
his life.
Yeah, a Bret Hart musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's unfathomable here in America.
I'm like,
but that's a Broadway show in Canada.
Yeah, in Toronto.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's not even his province.
Yeah.
Not even where he's from.
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
Yeah,
we were just walking down the street and I seen a flyer on a pole for Bret Hart the musical or a play. Deal. And I was like, Bret Hart has a play?
That's a big deal. And we can't even, like, we barely, like, recognize him. Like, we just drag him around whenever we want to talk bad about Shawn Michaels. Like, that's
or Goldberg.
Or Goldberg. Like, yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Why y'all didn't take care of Unc Burke, man? Why y'all didn't take care of Unc? That's messed up. Man.
I ain't gonna lie, Bret Hart be making me wish I was Canadian sometimes.
Bro, don't say that now, bro. You can't say that nowadays.
Why?
Y'all know what's going on in the world. With us in Canada and shit. Don't say that,
sir. I ain't gonna lie. If they got smoke, I'm not gonna lie. I'm turning heel.
When ice,
I'm turning heel, bro.
He said they got smoke.
I'm turning heel, bro.
He said, "Oh,
they
Canada."
If they pull up, I'm like,
Oh, Canada, So
yeah.
I'm with y'all.
Yeah, nah.
Nah, I'm like, my favorite, Bret Hart. Yeah, Bret Hart. Remember Bret Hart?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you good. That's how you get away with it.
I still watch Chris Benoit.
Bret Hart. We good? Okay. Bret Hart.
I was gonna say something else. I'm glad I didn't say that.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I talk about Chris Benoit and I say that. Like, I rock with Chris. Like, I'm actually, like, one of the reasons why I rock with him because, like, he's another person that, like, gave his all. He put his all into the business, right?
Too much.
He put way, and that's the other thing. He put way too much.
Yeah.
And I need for him not to be blacklisted, so that way it can be an example for others coming up never to go down that path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it sucks for like people like Kurt Angle who can't. Like Bret Hart has his best matches.
Yeah.
Bret Hart, Chris Benoit.
Yeah, and they can't put anything about it.
He can't talk about it.
But that's the thing. Like, why not talk about it? Like, talk about those matches, right? And then be like, you know, especially for like training. And again, I'm only talking from like a training perspective, right?
No, for sure.
Like, you don't want to go down this road. This is why you need to protect yourself.
Yeah.
This is why you need to take time off. This is why you need to not wrestle with headaches. This is why you need to be doing this. This is why. Like,
which is why I don't get why they don't work with like people like Chris Nowinski who just wants the betterment of the business.
He just wants the better. Yeah, and it's like, And it's like, and I get like pro wrestling has always been like this outlaw, like no rules thing, but like the business changed when it changed into a business.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like when you got to get other people involved, when you get in advertising, other people's money involved, when you get, it's crazy. About to be me.
I'll post it for y'all, but it's wild. Me in full Bret Hart with the Canadian flag.
Yeah, nah, man. But it's like, it's I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, like the mistreatment of others in this business get kind of crazy, bro. And like I said, I just try to shine the positivity on all it all, and it sucks because there's so much negativity and people want to bury so much. And it's like, well, when you bury it and you don't handle it and you don't address it appropriately, then that's how you get like sexual predators opening professional wrestling schools and they're running successfully. You know what I mean? That's
in Florida.
That's how you get, you know what I mean? That's how you get rapists running promotions, you know, and then hitting up the wrestlers, and then the wrestlers don't even know that they're rapists until after they do some weird shit. Like that's how you know. So I'm sure that there needs to be some kind of regulation. You know what I mean? Like, and so if me holding the people that I'm around is influence or no, I'm just holding the people that I'm around to a standard. And if you're not to that standard,
holding them accountable,
I don't fuck with you.
And
like, it's very simple.
And I feel like the wrestling business is one of the slower people, like the slower businesses of getting accustomed to that. Because you see like the music industry, how they're finally coming down on some of these people like R. Kelly and Diddy and stuff. But it feels like wrestling is still playing catch up.
Still. Not even playing catch up. They're not even in the game yet.
Yeah, I mean,
bro, they still fans. They still watching. Like everybody's still making Diddy jokes.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean? Like nobody is like the whole thing. And we can talk about Vince. Like the whole thing with like Vince McMahon, like they want to keep that under wraps because they're afraid of how that would affect the business.
Yeah,
it's not they're trying to keep it under wraps for the federals and privacy and all of that. That there is a $10 billion industry on the line with that federal case. Yeah, sweep that shit under the rug. I'm sorry, like sweep, like handle it, take care of it. Like fire him, get him out of here, get it, or handle that shit as far away from the business as possible. Get that away from wrestling. Like you have to have regulation. You like, and you know, people like, oh, now you're starting to talk about like unions, and you start talking about this and fair pay sounds like a bad idea. Okay, so you know, healthcare sounds like a bad idea. Okay, so now we're socializing wrestling. Okay, like all of these things are like bad ideas, and it's just like, how is it a bad idea other than because somebody older than you told you not to do it? How is it a bad idea? You get one for your job.
I feel like eventually it'll come around.
It should,
but it's. Again, I feel like the wrestling business is so behind that it won't happen. Maybe not happen in the next 10 years, or maybe in the next 20.
I think there's going to be...
unless the series finale of Earth comes early.
I would tell you this, and I hate to say it, but it's going to take another Benoit tragedy-esque tragedy for... If something like that happens, like nowadays, hardcore. It's coming down, like, and it's not going to come down. And the thing is, it's not going to happen to wrestling. I hate to be like a Nostradamus predictor kind of thing, but it's bound to happen and it's due. You know what I mean? It's like an erupting volcano, right? It's not going to just sit there for the rest of his life. Like it's due. Like it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen so much in professional wrestling as it's going to happen in something probably like an MMA or something like that close to it that will affect combat sports as a whole.
The two biggest,
they don't have regulation, bro.
The two biggest combat companies are kind of working together.
But one of them has regulation and the other one doesn't. So if something happens on the non-regulated side, that would happen on the regulated side. These people that are now paying all of these people all of this money is gonna say, hey, we're gonna need some regulation. We're gonna need something.
We need something. Especially if you want to be considered a sport.
We need something. So I hate to say it, but that's the direction that wrestling is headed. And that's just because it's no longer in the top business. It's no longer in the hands of a wrestler. Well, he was never a wrestler in the beginning, but a wrestling promoter. It's in the hands of a businessman. And he's only going to make the decisions based off of a business. So that's why now
especially when you try to make it more sports based.
You want to you can make a lot of money off of a sport.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, even though that's what you're supposed to do. But you want to be the reason why they've been getting away with not having regulations because it's sports entertainment, but they emphasize entertainment.
Yep.
But once you want to start doing sports
Entertainment,
betting,
but you start hitting them with the entertainment tax, then they'd be like, oh no, it's sport.
yep.
Yeah, but then you start hitting with the sport regulation. It's like, no.
But they're trying to get into the sports gambling.
Yep.
And once you do sports gambling,
It's
you
gotta
need to
be
lean
legit.
more towards sport.
Yep.
So then that's when regulations are gonna start coming in. So
Yep. And they want it, and that's what I said. So you're seeing the patterns. And
Yeah.
You're seeing these are all the indicators. These aren't like locker room gossip that I'm hearing. I'm seeing just patterns of business. Like we saw it happen in the NFL.
Yep.
We saw it happen in the NBA. Anybody that paid attention off the streets saw this happening. And and that's why I say it's only going to take a tragedy because that's the only time wrestling moves. Wrestling don't move when it's high. Like right now, they're making billions of dollars. They're not thinking about regulation. You know what I mean? It's going when they start losing that money. Then they're going to be like, yo, we got to do something. Like now that's when it's going to get into that. So that's why I said, like, I'm no longer thinking that carny mindset. I'm no longer thinking look around, brother. I can't put 500 people in here. I'm not interested in that. And so all it is like, well, what's the measure of your success in this business? When I book a show, everybody performs, nobody got hurt or minimum or minor injuries because it's professional wrestling, it's going to happen. Everybody gets paid. Everybody gets paid. Referees, photographers, videographers, catering staff. Everybody gets paid. Everybody gets paid a fair amount that was agreed upon before you got to the show. Okay, everybody that was booked on that show knows that they were booked on that show. People don't just walk onto the show and say, "Hey, can I get on?" And I say, "Yeah, get on in there." I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a vetting process. It's real easy. You can get on the show. It's real easy. Nobody does it. You just send me an email. But everybody sends me DMs. Everybody comes up to the show. They help sit down and then, oh, can I get on the show? No, because you got to send an email. Like that's how you get. It's clear and concise direction. I'm sorry if I'm not as rebellious as everybody else. Again, 8 years in the military, 8 years in the Army. Standard is a thing for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I tell you, so if that makes me sound like an asshole, if that makes me sound like a mob boss, then I guess it is because I'm holding people to a standard. But if I say, hey, this is how you can live your dream, send me an email. And you show up to my show and you say, hey, can I get in the ring? And I say, no. And then you go behind my back and be like, DMC's an asshole. He don't book people. He only books his friends. No. Send a fucking email. like that's all it was. Like it's not that hard. So because I'm not that guy, because I don't kiss that, because like I said, I hold people to a standard. Like I said, now I'm a mob boss. Now I'm smelling my own shit because of my 30 seconds of fame from Raw Underground. It's shit like that. It's like, no, I'm just doing what you would be told to do if you go to WWE, if you go to AEW, you go to TNA, you go to MLW, you go to these places that you want to go to, and they tell you,
be here at this time.
No, excuse me, brother. Excuse me. And they tell you, send an email.
Copy.
You're not just gonna walk up in Full Sail talking about hey, can I get on the show, brother? No, you're gonna send a fucking email, and that's why it's called the establishment. Everybody's like, well, what are you establishing? I'm establishing principle. Yeah. I'm establishing standard.
Procedures.
You know what I'm saying? I'm establishing shit that doesn't exist in wrestling because when you get to that level and you don't have that training, you don't have that background, you don't have that knowledge, and you get to that level, you're done. Yeah. You kick the fuck out. They like, why are we letting this guy? And you know, that doesn't affect you, that affects us. You're not so much deep into the Florida Indies, but the Florida Indies itself, the last signees was NXT 2.0 from the Florida Indies. I'm sure there's like one or two that might have sprinkled in and kind of came in, but they are literally right down the street, bro. 2 roads over. Right down the street. They should be hearing names left and right. When the pandemic closed, who did they reach out to because they were based here? They reached out to the people that they heard. They didn't reach out to, we need wrestlers. Send us an email. They said, shit, Who the guys that we can rely on? Who's the guys that's got standard? Who's the guys that got principle? Who's the guys that we ain't got to worry about because we got other shit to worry about because we on a skeleton crew, so we ain't got to worry about people walking up to wrestlers talking about some, hey, Mr. So-and-so, I really liked your match last week on SmackDown. Like, they don't want to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
So you come in there with a certain attitude. You come in there with a certain je ne sais quoi. You come in there with a certain, you know, like swagger about you. Yeah, for sure. Display your personality. Have that airport test that they say, but have some fucking respect for the business. Have something, decency, something. Motherfuckers don't have that, bro. Like they come into wrestling, they're growing up on, you know, the attitude era, and they think, oh, this is what wrestling is. I gotta be rough and rugged and gritty. And it's like, you meet all of these guys, you go meet the nastiest person, you know, you meet the top, Jacob Fatu, one of the nicest cats. I hate to break his kayfabe, one of the nicest cats you ever fucking meet. But the rumor is he's a felon. He's this. He's from the Bay Area. He's
That's his name.
So they paint that picture. Oh, Booker T, nicest cat, one of the nicest cats. He's a felon. He went to I'll even bring one up recent right now because now we're doing podcasts. Your boy, you just had on it, AJ Francis.
Oh yeah, that's my bro, man.
He's a villain.
Yeah.
He's this.
He's an asshole. He cocky.
He cocky. He got us fighting.
He got us fired.
He got us fired. It's
Ooh,
crazy.
I can't wait to address that one, but that's
he got us fired. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Because the story comes out as well. How did he get you fired? Because he was looking out for the team. You want somebody like that, bro. Like, and I'm not, and people gonna think, oh, I'm dick riding AJ because I book AJ. No, excuse me. Y'all know AJ. I know Frank.
Yeah.
All right. I know Frank before Frank turned to Top Dollar. I knew him down at Sausage Castle when he was running with the mob, and them niggas was smoking blunts to the ring. And I was like, yo, who is this Suge Knight nigga? And how can I get a part with this shit?
Shout out to the
fucking row, bro. Everybody talk about Hit Row. Where the fuck Hit Row came from? Hit Row came from the row, bro. Them was some real hardcore niggas. And when he got signed, one of the first things I asked him, I said, they not letting you bring the row, are they? Because that would go crazy. And what did they do?
They brought the row.
They brought the row and put another word in front of it. Yeah. So, like, obviously, like, that's something that's personal to him, so he's going to take care of that. That's something that you want. But again, it was a weird time.
And they don't know that he's one of the most loyal people out there.
It was
he's loyal. He's loyal to a fault.
To a fault. And that's and anybody that meets me will say that about me. Will say that about me too. That I'm loyal to a fault. Because there's sometimes I may have held on to some loyalties that I probably should have let go. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if I fuck with you and you fuck with me, and especially when it comes, like we talked about that passion earlier. When it comes to this wrestling shit, and you put me on some shit like that, I'm definitely gonna ride for you. You know what I mean? Like I ride for motherfuckers, and it could be some simple shit like put it on a Facebook post. You know what I mean? Just like, yo, stop fucking with people. You know what I mean? Like, don't fuck with this person. You know what I mean? It ain't that deep. And then people like,
you seen one of my best friends in this business, formerly known as Odyssey Jones.
Yeah.
But not forgetting this in the business.
Yeah.
In life. He's one of my best friends in life.
Yeah.
And I didn't care what anybody was saying.
Yeah.
I knew what was up with my bro.
Yeah.
I knew the truth. I knew the real.
Yeah.
And I know who he is as a person. I know Amari Palmer.
Amari, straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
From New York, straight up.
From New York.
Yep.
So it's like, yo, that's my brother.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna ride with my brother.
That's bro. And the main reason, again, not dick riding because I booked them, but the main reason why I booked, because everybody's like, oh, you bringing in all these people. Trust me, if I had the money that I'm bringing in these guys in, I would have brought in some people. All right, trust me. If you think it's about the money, it ain't about the money. It's about the relationships. I told you, I know AJ since I know AJ was Frank. All right, Odyssey was one of those guys when he came in from NXT. He went on the road to learn wrestling on the road. From when he was also learning in the locker room, he was coming to local indie shows. And I'm seeing him, me and Mikey are seeing him like, yo, what you doing here, bro? You can't miss him, you know what I mean? What you doing, like, bro? And he's like, oh, you know, and it's like, no. And he's like, coming to, oh, I don't know if I can do it, because again, he didn't really know. So we teaching, you know, not I won't say teaching him, but you know what I mean? We introduce him, showing him, like, oh, you know, showing him this and that. It was love, you know, love given, love received. So like, you know, he took out of his time to come show us love at our show. So we showing him love at the show, you know, and then there was another show, and then it's this, and then we go out the main. Now Mikey gets signed, so now he's working with him. So now we go out the Mania weekend, and I get out there. And now this is Dallas Mania, so now we linking up at Dallas Mania, hitting up shows, you know, doing all this yada yada. So now we, you know, because we went to the 40 Culture show in Dallas Mania, you know what I mean? That was actually, matter of fact, he brought Carmelo with because Carmelo was the NXT North American champion at that point. So and Melo had the belt, pulled the belt out. It was him, Trick, and they came with Odyssey, and that was crazy because For the Culture is like as an all black show to see a fucking black champion at a fucking promotion, and you gonna tell
promoting black wrestlers,
and you gonna tell me that this guy did that to a woman? Come on, bro.
Especially when you know his character.
That's you know what I mean. And it's like, come on, bro. I've been around the block. I know the left and the right hand. You know what I mean? I do this. I know the show left and how, you know, show right, how left. You know what I mean? But there's just certain people that ain't that good of a worker. No offense to Amari. You know what I mean? No offense to he only been doing this shit for so long. So no, he can't be that good of a worker to put on this such a good guy because he's that good of a person. He's that good of a human being. You know what I mean? So like you said, same thing. When it came out, first thing I did, and he got the receipts. First thing I did, anything you need. Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew they were going to sweep because as soon as he went on TV and all that, and he didn't pop up on TV, and I was like, damn, I know he's supposed to be on next week. Well, I thought he was like sick or something, you know. And then I went to, I didn't say I made the mistake, but I Googled it first. And then I saw it, and I was like, all right, yo, anything you need, whatever. And then I kind of realized that he wasn't coming back. And I was like, I asked Mike, and I was like, yo, is he done? Like, did they cut him? Because Mikey was still working at the time. I was like, is he, you know, still doing something? And no, I think Mikey was out at the time. He was like, I don't know. And I was like, all right. And then that's when I hit him with the establishment joint. So we're talking about a year and a half ago. Like probably whenever it popped
It was Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day week. Okay, so last September. Yeah, September. So we're probably in like October, November timeframe at this point. So later part of last year. And I'm like, yo, oh yeah, because I had the anniversary show coming up. Yep. And that's when we started kind of because I actually wanted him to go against AJ. At that show, that was the show that I wanted to do.
So we were trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. And then I was like, anything, and he didn't know, nobody knew, and then like I said, everything came. It is what it is, but you know, and I put him on the show with first thing I will say this. First thing, because like I said, this is not mine. There are 3 families involved. So the first thing is I went to my CEO and I went to my other guy, and I said, yo, this is the situation. I want to bring him in, bro. No questions. No questions asked. Not 100% support. You know what I mean? That's what this is about.
And
no,
I'm sure,
no drama. No.
I know he appreciates it, but I appreciate it, bro.
No, straight up.
That's love. I thank you. I'm like, thank y'all for even for booking him on there, bro. Because he one of the people, bro. That I'm like, yo, like.
He's one of the ones, bro. He's one of the ones, bro. And like I said, if he's that big of a piece of shit, and he's a hell of a fucking worker, he got us, bro. Because he's one of the ones. Like he's genuine. He's genuine, bro.
Absolutely
genuine. So yeah, now anytime we can show love to the ones that show love, like I said, I haven't. Everybody that you've seen, this is another brag on me, but any of these people that you've seen, I haven't booked outside of my contacts yet. I haven't reached out and said, hey, so and so, and you've seen who I brought in. These are people that I have close ties, personal relationship with. You know, when I was going through and I had an issue with, with training and stuff like that, I reached out to Mercedes Martinez because I know she had, she was doing some training stuff. And then so she was like, well, hey, lock my number in if you ever have questions. I never texted her for years. I never texted her. And then an opportunity came up and it was like, hey, what about Mercedes Martinez? I was like, I got her number on my phone. Let me see if this is her. Text it. Yeah, this is me. Hey, you remember that? Yeah. Well, everything's good now, but what do you think about da-da-da-da? She was on the next show. You know what I mean?
Dope.
Like it's crazy stuff like that. Like it's like I'm not going out of my way to try to make this something. You know what I mean? I'm going out of my way to make wrestling something because of this. You know what I mean? So if I'm establishing anything, I'm not trying to establish myself. You know, I put myself on it, and it's a running joke. And I tell this guy, that's why I brought him here, because he's the truth. He's the truth teller. He would be the man to tell the truth. I never wanted to put these belts. I never wanted to put no belts on. From the very beginning, I never wanted to put no belts on. I never did, but it was always circumstantial where we put ourselves in those matches and then something happened where the team either broke up or or something else happened. And it was just like, all right, we got to shake these belts off. And then it was fine. And then there was these kids coming up. And it was just like, all right, cool. Now we're gonna give it to him. So we recently gave it to him. So it's just like, finally, get this weight up off of us. Cause it's like again, cause I'm not a spotlight guy. I know I'm talking your head off for however long this is, but like, cause this is the only time that I talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? After this, I'm hiding behind my Godzilla avatar on Facebook and I'm chilling. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, it's a very funny business. You just got to find a way. Yeah. You got to find a way to move. Like I said, the wrestling industry, the podcast industry, I'm sure it's all cutthroat just like this. Yep. So you just got to find your way to move, and at some point you got to put on blinders. Yep. You know what I mean? You got to keep your eyes open for opportunities, but then at some point you just got to put on blinders, and I think I'm at that point now where I'm just going to say what I say, let it be said, and from this point on, I'm putting on these blinders, and I'm only focusing on this. So straight up,
man. We talked about promoter, DMC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's talk about wrestler, DMC, real quick.
Okay.
You debuted, 2017, the wrestling business. You're working through the indies.
Yep.
Eventually leads to you having your first Evolve match.
Yep.
Ironically, with Mikey.
Yep. Against him. Yep.
And then leads to obviously you guys becoming a tag team.
Yep.
Which was just the task force, right?
Mm-hmm. Task force. Yep.
Task force from the beginning.
Yep.
Your Mikey Spandex.
Mikey Spandex, which is crazy because that's not his wrestling name. That's not his wrestling name. That's his workout name. That was his name before he came into wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah, because he wore spandex.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was his thing. Like he would just wear leggings whenever he did his lifting competitions. Yeah. So that was his workout name. That was his work name was Mikey Spandex. So he already had a wrestling name when he came in. Yep.
And you guys made worked the Florida scene, tag team, and then eventually, he gets signed to WWE, and which I'm sure was like a huge respect to that he chose the name Marquise as his referee name.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was wild. That was a moment because it was just like, bro, like, because it was so Marquise Hamilton, and Hamilton being his mother's maiden name.
Okay.
So it was all personal. It was. I was like, so to put me next to your mom is kind of crazy, bro.
Man.
Yeah.
I just a level of respect.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
And you're working singles at that time.
Yeah.
So you saw work. I saw you work CCW.
Yep.
Work GW.
Yep.
And then Mikey leaves NXT.
Yep.
And you guys, the reunion of Task Force.
The boys are back.
And the boys are back in town. and you guys are now working again through the tag team scene and all over the independents of Florida.
Yeah.
Man, how was that reuniting with Mikey and getting back to work?
It was fun. So we never really broke up. It was one of those weird things, like even when he was at NXT, like, because even when he was working at NXT, like I still had like extra spots. So I was still like going, maybe not like every month, but I was going like, like every other month, to do like, security guard spots, sometimes no spots at all. But it's like, I still see him from time to time. So it was still cool to see. And I'll just go to like the shows, like he had War Games. I went, go support him with the boys and things like that. So like it was like, you ever see like the videos of the dogs like up on, and they see the other dog like in a dog contest, and they be like, yeah, watch your boy make it, man. Yeah, it was one of those moments, man. But I just want just because it's a full story again. Because I'm long-winded, sorry. So the evolved thing, believe it or not, so Task Force, that's actually a very important part because it almost never happened. Task Force was almost never a thing. If it wasn't for that Evolve tryout. Oh wow! So me and Mikey, we had a match probably like a couple of months prior, and it was a good match. But he was new. I ain't got a leg to stand. I probably only had like a year and a half on him. But he did a springboard and he slipped and fell right on his shit. And then I had to cover it up, hit him with the finish, go home. Right. So in my mind, I'm thinking. this is Evolve, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I just had to match with you, so I got a good 5-minute match, but I'm just like,
don't slip again.
I just don't want you to fuck up, you know? So I reached out to shout out Jake St. Patrick.
That's my dog, man. I love Jake.
Shout out Jake, right? So Jake was coming to the joint, but I think I stayed like night before or something, but either way, but he was late. So he was running late. And so Jake, I'm like, yo, where you at? Like, come on. So they about to open the doors. Right before they open the doors, they come out and they're like, all right, well, because they were waiting for somebody to come open the doors, so they were going ahead and get started. So they was like, well, while we wait, go ahead and get your partner that you're going to tag up with for your tryout match. And y'all can go ahead and start going over that now, so that way, because again, we were taking all that time when we were waiting. So I'm sitting there waiting for Jake. I'm like, all right, come on, Jake. Like, oh, hurry up. And sure as shit, I look up, and there's Mikey Spandex. Bro, Mikey Spandex is looking at me, and he's like, hey, you want to be my tryout partner? And I'm just like, I'm looking at Jake's not here. I'm looking at the springboard slip, and I'm just like, yeah, man, yeah, I'll do it. And we fucking crushed it, bro. We fucking crushed it. And then we went on and we opened the show, fucking had a crazy ass spot where we were wrestling each other. And then we got beat up a bunch of times. I'm thinking, who beat us up in that one? I think it was Dan Mather. Yeah, Dan Mather. They were trying to boost Dan Mather up. You remember he was the guy they were doing those video package, and then he eventually showed up and Samoa Joe killed him. Like it was just like it's like they did all that for nothing. But yeah, they were trying to. At that time, he was getting his indies run. So yeah, I think he came out and killed us on that first show, and it wasn't so much the tryout in that. It was the fact that we looked so good dying with the NXT guy that Gabe Sapolsky was like, there's something there. And then I looked at Mikey and I said, yeah, there's something here. And then, so we went back to Daytona, and so Go Wrestle was the school that I came out of, that I trained out of, and we would do student shows. So kind of the idea that I got with this, but we would do student shows for like, basically kids like either fresh out of school, or like less than 5 years experience, or like every now and then you get that vet to kind of come in the locker room, to kind of, teach, smarten everybody up. But for the most part, it's us getting our shit in, getting it out before we hit the road and do big shit, right? So, me and Mikey, we would do our thing, and we got together, and my shout out my trainer, Kyle Blizzard. He was one of those guys that was just like, go ahead. Like, we didn't write no scripts. We didn't have no creative meetings. We didn't say, okay, y'all gonna do this and this and not. He gave me, a kid that's learning in professional wrestling, creative control over everything that I did. And that was crazy. That was amazing to me. Like, that was like, that's why to this day, like, so anybody asks, like, I never have taken a dime from Go Wrestle. And I've worked with them as recent as March of this year. So for the last 9 years, anytime that they've seen me in that ring, I've never taken a dime from them because I owe them so much. Like, 'cause that's my career. Like, so like he gave us so much creative flex and freedom that we were able to just like grow and just be beautiful together and just get that chemistry down pat. And then so by the time we hit the road, everyone was like, yo, y'all are crazy. Like, y'all are good. So get the Evolve thing, boom, boom, boom. Evolve comes up. Street Profits win the Evolve tag titles. There's talks of a young team that they want to shine up, so we're gonna get into it. COVID hits, boom, shuts everything down. So because we were already working with Evolve, like I said earlier, it's not about your work. It's all about your reputation. So Gabe Sapolsky, so they reached out, hey, we need Florida kids because we can't drive anybody out, so we need who's some people that we can rely on, in this type of situation. A closed film, top secret. They're filming pay-per-views. They're filming WrestleMania. You know what I mean? They're filming SmackDowns in advance. Like, they're hitting all these angles, and then you can turn, because it was minimum staff, and you can fuck around, turn the wrong corner, and Vince McMahon's right there. You know what I mean? So like, they don't want no craziness. Like, they wanted some
crash outs.
Yeah, they wanted some people that, like I said, that has respect for the business.
Yep.
So there was a lot of people that didn't. There was a lot of people that so we were long stays. Mikey got there first. Mikey got there in March. So everybody talks about Raw Underground, 5 years, declassified, fuck it. We were actually Tozawa's Ninjas. Okay. So it was me, Mikey, and another wrestler, Mike Reed. So anytime so we wasn't just doing those spots. Like, we were on Monday Night Raw continuously for a good like 4 or 5 months during that time frame. on top of doing the Raw Underground stuff, on top of having our match on 205 Live, on top of another spoiler alert, doing that's why you see all those midgets in Retribution. Yeah, 'cause that was all the Florida indie wrestlers. That's why, because we were all small, bro. I mean, everybody ain't no bigger than 6 foot. So yeah, that's why I look like the Lollipop Gang was doing that, because that was all the Florida indie guys, and myself included. So like that was all like, it was all the same people that they were using. So there was all those people were the people that they were using on the outskirts of the Raw Underground. So it was like the Chico Adams and all those. So everybody that you see that was around the outskirts of the Raw Underground stuff, they were doing all the other extra spots. So it was just a small group. It wasn't like they were bringing in extras every taping. It was literally just like a small group of like 10 of us
playing like a bunch of different roles,
doing a bunch of different shit. And because of that experience, that's when I got this, because it was like I was on a closed set. I'm learning the business from a completely rare opportunity, because they literally told us, they said, hey, this shit is downing everybody out. Go talk to some people, because people are like getting like, cabin fever or whatever it's called, like that, like whenever you're like secluded or whatever, and you don't have like conversations and shit. So they literally would send us out just to go randomly talk to people. Like we talked to the guy that made Bray Wyatt's gear and mask and stuff like that. Because like I was into that special effects stuff, so like we was talking about that stuff. We would go and talk to like different wrestlers and different referees, like have them random sitting there with like Ivar and with the Viking Raiders when they changed the name, so they hear their frustrations while it was live. Like it was kind of cool. Like it was like you get you get that experience that you really that you wouldn't get outside of, one, in a pandemic, two, if in a normal wrestling environment. So. Yeah, and because of that reputation, it came around and it was like, okay, we need to reward some of these kids. So they gave us all tryouts. The only one that didn't have a tryout, Mikey had just had a tryout. So they told us, y'all don't have to try out. We'll make the decision. And we was like, what? So we were being interviewed for hire. So it came back on me. The reason why, so I did have my tryout in 2017, but I was trying out to be a referee. And the main reason why they didn't want it is because of the tattoos. So it was a visual image thing, but the main thing that it was like, well, UFC's doing it, they got the referees with tattoos, so maybe, and it was like, all right, cool. Now at the time, I'm like, that's fine, I'll wrestle. You know what I mean? I was decent, I was jacked, you know what I mean? I had a good reputation as like the jacked ref. So I was like, okay, I can kind of ride that lightning for a little bit. So I did that, and I did that on the indies, but then I started getting that bug to wrestle. So then that's when I started wrestling. And then they was like, all right, well, now that you're wrestling, we don't even care about you being a referee. Like, do your thing. They was like, go do your thing. So then that's when I, again, evolved, And then, so Mikey has his tryout right before the pandemic shuts down. And then, so they review all our files or whatnot. So the only people that they were hiring at the time, referees. And so he's clean cut, looks good. All I said is, hey, would you shave your head? Or not shave your head, but he had a big fro. Would you cut your hair? And he was like, yeah. And they looked at me, and I had my locks, and they were fresh. They were fresh at that time. And he kind of looked at me, looked at the tattoos, and I was just like, don't even ask. Like, that was a shoot conversation. And Mikey's my witness. I literally looked at him and said, I'm good. I don't even want to be told no again. You know what I mean? That was the kind of mindset that I was in. Like, I was like, I don't want to be told no again. I was like, I'd rather just hit the road, do my thing that way. And that was good because that still kept me close because Mikey was there. And like I said, I was still able to come in, do extras. Odyssey's first match, I did the dark match with him.
Was you and
me and Cam Stewart?
Yep.
Yeah, me and Cam Stewart. So that's how I was able to get. That's how I initially met Odyssey, was through there, and then meeting him at the shows and stuff like that. So like the NXT 2.0 run, doing an extra run with the 2.0 thing, and then they dropped the 2.0 thing, and then they basically canned the extras from there. So that's basically when I kind of was like back to like full time on the road. But, yeah, man. That was all my 30 seconds of fame, apparently, my last 5 years, and I've just been benefiting from it. So apparently, whatever I've done during that is that. So.
Yeah. And go back to promoter Marquise. Talk about the establishment. You guys have a couple shows coming up.
Yeah.
Specifically one this Friday.
Yeah. This Friday we got The Rise of the Empire. We are recording live from the illustrious Empire Arena. You're one of the first guests to be here. So people are kind of looking in the background and kind of see it. But if you want to see the full scope, come and check us out Friday night, 6 o'clock, doors open. April 4th, Friday night, April 4th, 6 o'clock. What are we, 269, 296, 268? I still don't know the address. 296 Anchor Road, Suite 200, Castleberry. This is where we're at. We're gonna be here. This ring's gonna be right here. We're gonna have we got some fun stuff lined up. Got a nice little battle royal lined up. Some fun stuff playing with that. And of course, we got AJ coming through. Him and Azzy's got a little war, a little beef that they need to settle. So, you know, if this is one of those times where you ain't gotta spend, you know, $200, $100 at Full Sail to go see them. You know, you pay your $20 and you come stand right here where I'm at, and you can see them right there. That's the benefit. That's the joy. Like, that's the you want to take this, probably clip this and front load it, because this is the reason why you put this in the promoter part. This is the reason why I did this shit, because like I said earlier, I wanted to make that type of wrestling available to people that may not have access to that. Like, you see where we're at. We're in the city. We're in the community. You know what I mean? Like, I want those kids walking down the street to come to these shows. You know what I mean? I want them to be like I was passing out flyers, and this kid's like, that's AJ Francis? I was like, yeah, he's on TNA. And I was like, yeah, he's gonna be at my show. What? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. He was like, oh, how much? That's gotta be expensive. I was like, it's only $10. He was like, what? And he was at the show. Like, it's little things like that. Like, it's like that. That's why we do it. That's why, you know, I'm reaching out to people. I'm not banking off them. Like, be honest, I'm gonna be like, it's changing. The establishment is always changing. Like I said, we're brick and mortar now. So, you know, now, you know, we can't take as many risks as we could take on the road. You know, like, we gotta make sure our shit is nailed down solid, because 3 families are at stake. You know, lives are at stake, families are at stake. You know, so yeah, we gonna pack the house on Friday. Like I said, April 4th, and then we're back at the tavern on the 26th. For our normal tavern show. We're gonna have fallout from that show, so I'm not gonna announce what we got going on, but I got something planned for that show.
Copy.
But you gotta come to the show on the 4th, find out what happens there, and then we'll roll it. Yeah, then we'll roll into the 26th, baby. You gotta roll with the establishment to follow the full story. But now that we're here, you know, we got our fiber internet being installed tomorrow. There's been some talks of a new medium that professional wrestling has yet to cross, that we're looking to pioneer and get ahead of. So yeah, that might be coming in the May time frame. That might be coming, but definitely around in the summer time frame as we get set up, taking production of pro wrestling to a whole new level. Because again, there's so many avenues, there's so many mediums these days to get your wrestling, and there's one market that is completely untapped that I know that wrestling would vastly benefit from. So we're preparing for that. Like I said, we're laying down fiber internet, bro. We that hard shit. We ain't fucking around. So yeah. So for what we got planned, it's going to be good. So it's going to be great to be able to present all of my crazy blunt induced ideas to the world. It's just me, bro. I'm the only creative. All that shit that you see that goes on in that ring, it's just me, and that's probably a detriment. I probably should get some more people to kind of help me out, because I kind of go crazy in there. But yeah, all those storylines, all of that, man, that's where I get off at. I don't get off by checking my bank account. I've been getting off of checking my bank account. I made, you know, I mean, I've been doing 1099s, making, you know, fucking 5 figures for, you know, I know how to fucking write my shit. Like, it is what it is. But like, when it comes to this wrestling shit, bro, the payoff for me is the fans. Is hearing the crowd chant, "It's a cult," from a bullshit ass storyline that I came up with when I was just sitting in my room watching my champion and my top social star doing their jobs, promoting a show. And I'm like, damn, this shit sound like a cult. Ooh. Hey, let's try to make this more like a cult. Let's see if we can get the crowd on it. A month later, I got the crowd chanting, "It's a cult. It's a cult." Bro, that's a fucking payoff to me, bro. I don't need fuck a money in the bank. Fuck to them, they need those tickets. So don't get it twisted. Show up, please. Sell the house out. They need those tickets. But to me, you know what I mean? The payoff as the booker, the payoff is when I know that the fans has been paying attention. Because when the fans give me that response, because I know that they've been paying attention. So
All right, brother, man. We got just one last segment. We run through this real quick too. It's this or that. Where we pretty much just say, you pick whichever.
Oh, it's like that Drink Champs game. Yeah. I'm with it. I'm with it. Shout out Drink Champs.
Yeah, and first the one I always go for because it always seems to be the toughest one.
Yeah,
is Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
Fuck. I said that too fast.
You did.
I said that too fast. Fuck, bro. But all right, man. I was that Halloween Havoc match is in my fucking brain, bro. But yeah, Eddie Guerrero.
Okay. Bret Hart or Kurt Angle?
Bret Hart.
Shawn Michaels or Triple H?
Triple H.
Okay. Randy Orton or John Cena?
Randy Orton.
Damn, sir, you just stone cold.
Yeah. Trust me, bro. I know hey, I'm locked in. I know who my guys are.
Copy.
Yeah, I know who my guys are. I play this or that. I'm in it. Let's go.
Chris Jericho or Edge?
Now you got me. Two on my Mount Rushmore. So that one, I'm gonna take a drink. I'm gonna take a drink. I'm gonna take a drink on that one.
All right, copy. Well,
yeah, those two on my Mount Rushmore. So yeah, that's my Biggie or Tupac. Like I can't pick one or the other. That's my
Two of my guys. Odyssey or AJ Francis?
AJ's a dick. You know? That's Odyssey, obviously. Nah, man. AJ, no, dude, can I tell you a story that probably AJ don't want me to tell?
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
We'll play this today. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller. But
No, you good, man.
But yeah, so AJ is on TV, doing the Joe Hendry thing, and I'm shooting in the dark. I'm like, yo, AJ, can you do this show for us? I got this like crazy idea. Like, what you think? And without hesitation, again, credit to the man's character, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. We got AJ Francis, and so I tell them, I'm like, all right, I got our headliner for the next show, and it's like, all right, who is it? I was like, AJ Francis, and I told him this the other day. I said, I could hear your asshole puckering up because you was just going to ask me the next question. How much was you going to give? How much was you going to tax us? And I was like, trust me. It's like, bro. I was like, nah. But AJ has always been a homie from the very, 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 very beginning. And I just wanted him, and I think it was at that point that they realized, I was like, I can get some people in here. It's like, who? I was like, all right. And then I came back when it was like AJ. It was like, what? AJ Francis. I was like, yeah, I can get him in here. And then they were just like, all right. And then, yeah, so. But yeah, shout out AJ for taking chances on fucking little indie. I really do mean that shit, bro. Like, I know it sounds sarcastic, but like, shout out AJ for fucking taking chances on fucking little indie companies while you're on TV, doing fucking pay-per-views, fucking winning titles and shit. But he's down here fucking performing in front of, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Performing in front of fucking 50 to 100 people. You know what I mean? That 100, trust me, okay, I ain't gonna lie. Our biggest draw shows, every single one of them, is because AJ's on the card. He'll tell you that. He will tell you that, and it's true. You can't hide. We will look him up. We got him all online. It's true. He packs the place. So yeah, no, like and to have him, like I said, he could have easily ran them. Like I said, he was the champion at a time. You know what I mean? He could have ran them numbers the fuck up. But like I said, that's just more credit. I just want to just say whoever he is as a person. It's just that's who he is. So yeah, shout out AJ as a man, but I'm still with Odyssey, dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usos or the New Day?
Usos.
Okay.
Yeah. New Day broke my heart, dog.
I feel you.
Yeah, New Day broke my heart.
The Hardys or the Dudleys?
Okay, I can say the Hardys on that one.
Okay.
You would have said Edge and Christian, we would have got stuck again.
Better feud. There's a better feud.
Okay.
Better rivalry.
Okay.
Undertaker and Kane or Austin and McMahon?
For me personally, Undertaker Kane.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really care for the story. I didn't really care for that. To be honest, I didn't really care for the Austin storyline.
No?
Yeah,
Him beating
I
up
didn't
his
really
boss?
care.
Everybody want to do that.
And I wasn't working at the time.
Oh.
I was a jit. You know what I mean? So that didn't really appeal to me. I'm sure
it
it
appeals to me now.
Yeah, now. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, like looking back, I get it. You know what I mean? But like growing up, like watching it, like
every day I want to walk in and just snuff my boss in the face.
I didn't see Vince McMahon as like the boss. I just saw him as like the boss character.
Okay.
So naturally, you beat up the boss character. So.
Yeah. All right. And one final one, just to just to see where your head is at on this. The Shield or it's like, where you going, bro? I seen your face when I said the Shield. All right, the Shield or Evolution?
Evolution.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say the Wyatts, bro, because I
No,
was
no,
about
no,
to be
no, no.
stuck. I was like,
well,
man.
you can do that. The Shield or the
Yeah,
Wyatts?
Shield of the Wyatts is the Wyatts for sure.
Oh, I was
Like,
about to say, I feel like
yeah,
you cater more to the darker.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I said that. I was going
Yeah.
through like a crazy emo phase when I ran into WWF. So like I naturally like latched on to those like supernatural. I can't play a supernatural character to save my life. Like I tried. I just appreciate the art of it for sure.
I went with Evolution because of what the Shield became and what Evolution became between Orton and Batista and Roman and Seth.
Yeah.
And somewhat Moxley.
I would say Shield was like more new generation, so so that's not really my
Got
bag.
you.
You know what I mean? Like I appreciate him. Don't get it twisted. Like Roman is my dog.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I appreciate everything.
Yeah.
But I appreciate them more as singles than I did as them as the Shield, because again they were going up against the Wyatts.
So you're Roman. So you Roman out of the three?
I'm Roman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rock or Roman?
Depends on who you ask. Depends on which Marquise you ask. WrestleMania 17 Marquise or WrestleMania 40 Marquise.
So I'm guessing 40 is
Actually,
Roman.
no, my bad. What was the one they were here?
33.
33? Okay, so yeah, that one. 33.
That's Roman for you?
Yeah, because the Monday after,
Oh, when
the
you put the bull?
palm in my hand.
Yeah,
The palm in my hand. Oh, I was in the
Yeah.
crowd for that one.
Okay.
Oh, I said, yep. That's my guy.
Okay.
Like I said, if acknowledging him was at that moment, that was it. I was like, oh, because that crap, because just beat Taker. Like he didn't beat the Streak, but he beat Taker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the crowd,
He's one of the two.
one of the two, yeah, bro.
And whatever
Yeah.
it is in two.
Oh, bro, yeah. And I like the big dog phase.
Yeah.
He hates the big dog phase. I like the big dog phase because that was him coming to his own, bro.
That was a rough period.
Suffering Succotash was a little rough.
that was rough.
That was rough.
And the dog food and
the dog food.
but
that was rough. That was rough. But hey, he stayed in the pocket. You got to go through shit to know, how to shine.
yeah.
So, because he came, he had a little setback in personal life, and another COVID Thunderdome story. So me and Mikey, we were over there by the drones. They starting to do the drone things, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we over there by the drone section, and we were watching SummerSlam. This is when he came back from leukemia, and we were at the drones, and all of a sudden they're like, "All right, y'all gotta move." He's like, "Are y'all gonna stand right there?" We was like, "Yeah." It was like, "All right." In about like 30 minutes, y'all gotta move. And he was like, "All right." We thought like some drone shit was about to happen, right? So we was like, "All right, cool." So it was like 30 minutes passed. We move on to the other side. We chilling, whatever, boom, boom. And I'm talking about it was one of those like Hollywood movies. It's like that's that airport test that they always be talking about. Hollywood shit's like you look over your shoulder, everything slows down, and then this motherfucker just walks right by you. You don't expect that shit, nothing. It's like Roman fucking Reigns, and I was just like, oh shit, like damn, bro, they about to shock the world with this shit. And he fucking came in there, and I was just like, yep, big oos, bro, yeah. So yeah, me and Mikey, yep. So I said declassified, but me and Mikey we were the first ones to know that he was coming back. So. We didn't tell nobody though. We were cool to keep it to ourselves, we were the first ones to know.
But man, we can do one last one too, because AJ Styles or CM Punk.
Ooh, man, because I really love Ring of Honor CM Punk, and I really love TNA AJ, and I kind of don't like where they're at right now. So I'm gonna go with their earlier careers. Brash, I'm CM Punk. Yeah, CM Punk.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Sir, I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking some time, man.
Man, give them the socials, someone they can follow you at.
I'm everywhere, bro. I'm everywhere. Personally, at MDMC We Trust. That's on Instagram. That's on X. That's on Facebook. It's a shoot name. You can find me. You want to do that. But I don't care about any of that. Follow the establishment. Follow that beautiful emblem over my shoulder and this beautiful ring. Come to this show, see this beautiful ring in person. All right, the establishment on Facebook, at the establishment wrestling. We got the EST wrestling on X. Definitely come check us out. We about to open up some other channels. I don't want to get into it right now, but I'm kind of getting into it. But we got some other things coming in. So lock in onto us on social medias. Because like I said, we about to change the world. We about to establish some standard in this professional wrestling game for sure.
Yeah, of course. And we also got the QR code here. If you guys could scan this, I don't know if you guys can, but if not, we'll have the link in there.
Yeah, get that link.
And
that'll
man,
get you to the tickets. That'll get you there. That'll get you to the website. We're gonna start getting some other things popping off here at the Empire Arena. Like we got the shows going. I'm getting my personal training thing going with WrestleFit. It's a very, very unique situation. You can follow that if you want at WrestleFit. 2 eyes, of course. You know, just integrating a new type of fitness where it comes, you know, functional fitness, whether you be a wrestler, or, you know, like we talked earlier today with a young lady named Janet, young lady, 68 years old, was walking. She's interested. She's coming through on Thursday. So, you know, it's just a real different, cool dynamic. So if ever you in town, you know, hit us up, say you want to come through. I live 20 minutes away, and I'll be here.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on again, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you.
This has been fire.
Sir.
Make sure you guys follow us at WTRG Pod. My personal, they call me Pun. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. Make sure you guys follow the establishment. Make sure you guys follow DMC. Show some love. Come through to the 6th or
the 4th and the 26th.
The 4th and the 26th. I combined the two, my bad. So the 4th and the 26th for the 2 established shows. Again, we'll have the link in there for you guys to buy tickets.
And then check out on YouTube. The whole year 2024 we were on the road and we filmed it. So we got all our full shows. Every match is out there. Because if anybody gets an idea of what we got, you know, AJ's debut is on there. So yeah, definitely go check it out. There's a nice little 3-way which featuring your boy, but it was us, Task Force, and Rich Swann versus AJ and his crew.
I love Rich Swann.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of matches on there. So go and check them out. Support the crew. And all that comes right back here in this building, so that way we can keep being good and loved and blessed.
All right, man. That said it all, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us.
I've been blessed to touch the biggest stages. 20,000 in the crowd, but I can see their faces. They astonished and they shocked, can't believe I made it. Kept a strong mind, nigga, made it out the matrix. I had to flip that. Sipping on this Dawn, the Henny clipped that. Lost a lot of shit, but I ain't never lose my drip black. Don't skip that. Yeah, let's not forget that. Yeah, look, but let's get back to all the real shit that I'm imposing.